So let's shift around into the Situation Room. Okay, Jocelyn, you're up. What? Tell us
Okay.
more.
All right. So we have an employee who was working remotely, left their job. I don't think they stated why, and ended up taking a job in an office environment. And immediately felt a lot of stress and frustration because I don't know if it was a he or a she. So they were really struggling with, for example, the workday taking a really long time to pass. So much more so than when they were working remotely, or people who were chit chatting about things that was just distracting and they wanted to just be able to work. So, it's really hard when you're transitioning from a remote environment into an in-person
Yeah,
office
yeah,
environment. And I think that there are a few things that employees can do to prepare for something like this. When it comes to it being a long day, I do think it's because when you're at home, nothing else is bothering you
yeah,
and you're just structured and you're just kind of going for it. When you're in the office, there are lots of little distractions that pop up. So I would highly recommend to an employee that you consider time chunking your day and using that as a time management skill, essentially, to help break up the workday a little bit, but in a way that's going to be efficient for you.
yeah,
The other thing too is that when you are actually interviewing for a job in an office environment, you should absolutely speak to what's the culture, what's the environment. If you have an opportunity, maybe you do a shadow day, just so you can get a feel for the difference between being remote or being in the office. And for HR, I think this is a really important thing that everybody is quite focused on when it comes to return to work strategies and how to make people who are working remotely feel comfortable coming back into the office. And there are so many reasons why somebody might feel uncomfortable coming
yeah,
back into the office.
yeah,
It could be because, oh, now stuff's messed up with my daycare, or I really manage my time better at home, or I really like the flexibility so I could go to a doctor's appointment when I needed to and just manage my time that way. And so it's going to be really critical for HR, and I'm sure many HR professionals listening to this already already know, to put together a strategy to help acclimate those that are coming in from a remote environment into an office space, because you want them to be engaged, you want to retain them, you don't
mm.
want them leaving, and you want them to be productive and comfortable, and that's kind of really the whole goal out of all this, right? Is having productive, engaged, happy employees.
Yeah. And I think that we're sort of 5 years on from the pandemic now, and there will be people out there who have been in the workforce for 5 years, but have never worked in an office.
Mhm.
And they're being asked to do that, or they're moving to a job where they have to do that, and that's a big shift for people if they've never worked in an office before.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point, because then you have to start thinking too. Like, for example, my sister works for me. She's in marketing and she's been working for me since college. She's 25 years old. She's been with us for a few years now. She's never worked in an office setting before.
Mm, mm.
And I think she would actually like to if she had an opportunity, at least a hybrid situation. But, something to really consider too is like office etiquette
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah,
people who don't know.
yeah,
How do you behave at
yeah,
work?
yeah.
It's going to be totally different. You're not hanging out in your PJs at home. There's an expectation. Has HR set that expectation for their workforce?
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting one. And have the rules changed? Have the rules of working in an office changed? I don't know. I've not worked in an office for quite some time now, apart from one with myself in.